The Bilt MasterCard has been on my credit card wish list for quite some time. It's one of the best no annual fee credit cards of 2023, and it's a no-brainer for those who are. In this video, we'll be discussing the benefits of the Bilt MasterCard and why I'm applying for it. We'll also go through my current credit history data points at the time of the application at the end of the video to see if I was approved for the card or not. So the Bilt MasterCard is the only credit card that offers 1x back on red payments without any transaction fees, and up to 100,000 Bilt points per calendar year. The card also offers 3x points back on dining, 2x back on travel, and 1x points back on everything else. On top of all of that, Bilt will double these points on the first of the month, therefore that's 6x points back on dining, 4x points back on travel, and 2x back on everything else excluding rent. Now while the Bilt MasterCard has a lot to offer, there are a few minor downsides of the card. Now I personally believe that any new credit card you're signing up for should have a sign-up bonus, since sign-up bonuses are the best way to get upfront value on your spend. Currently, the Bilt MasterCard does not have a sign-up bonus at the time of the recording of this video. Considering that Bilt is the only credit card that offers 1x points back on rent without the transaction fees that you usually have to deal with when paying rent with credit cards, they are taking a loss on this credit card in that manner. Therefore, it is understandable why they're not offering a sign-up bonus at the time, because they are offering a very unique credit card in the game right now. Now, there is an official sign-up bonus. There is an unofficial welcome offer with this credit card to new members once you obtain your official card in the mail. Now, this offer can either be 2x back on all purchases within the first 30 days of obtaining your card in the mail, or 5x back on all purchases within the first 5 days of obtaining a card in the mail, or even 10x back on all purchases within the first 5 days of obtaining a card in the mail. Of course, all these offers do exclude rent, and the welcome promotions are randomly targeted to different people, and the data points will vary on who gets what promo. Now, I'm hoping I get the 10x promotion for the first 5 days of obtaining a card in the mail, but I do know that the 5x promotion is more common. Lastly, in order to prevent people from only using the card once a month for that 1x points back on rent, Bilt requires the card to be used at least 5 transactions per statement period, with rent counting as one of those. Since I currently have the Chase Freedom Unlimited that also offers 3x points back on dining, I will most likely use the Bilt MasterCard for this 4 other times per month to hit that minimum requirement. If I happen to be going out the first of the month, I'll definitely be using this card instead of any of my credit cards, because it becomes a catch-all credit card on the first of the month and is 6x points back on dining credit card, which beats any other credit card that I have currently. Even with those few minor downsides with the Bilt MasterCard, I still believe this card can add tons of value to my wallet. I'm currently not getting any points back on rent, and since housing is my biggest spend category every month, I'm losing points that I could be earning with the Bilt MasterCard. Now, I currently would be charged a 3% transaction fee with any of my other credit cards that I have if I was to use those for rent. Therefore, if I was to use one of my other credit cards, I would be losing money instead. Since Bilt takes care of the transaction fee, I would be net positive 1x points back on rent compared to any of my other credit cards that I have. If I was to start using the Bilt MasterCard for my rent payments every month, I would roughly get around 18,000 Bilt points per calendar year based on what I spend on rent every month. Bilt lets you redeem Bilt points through a few different options, with each offering different value. Now, one of the lowest ways to get the worst value for Bilt points by using it for shopping through Amazon.com. Bilt points are roughly worth about 0.7 cents per point when used this way. Therefore, you would need roughly around 14,000 Bilt points to cover $100 Amazon expense, which isn't that worth it in my opinion. If you're into fitness, Bilt lets you redeem Bilt points to attend fitness classes. Now, the value will depend on what fitness class you attend, but it will roughly be around 1 cent per point in value. A unique way Bilt lets you redeem Bilt points is through a down payment for a future home. Now, I don't see myself using Bilt points in this manner, but it is a good option since they are worth about 1.5% in value. Therefore, 100,000 Bilt points would be worth about $1,500 for a down payment for a future home. Now, one of the best features of the Bilt MasterCard and the way that I plan to use my Bilt points is by transferring the Bilt points out to transfer partners that Bilt has. Most credit cards that have transfer partners have an annual fee. Considering that Bilt has no annual fee and has transfer partners, makes this a very powerful credit card. Bilt lets you transfer Bilt points one-to-one to many of the existing transfer partners that they have. Some of these transfer partners are American Airlines, IGH Rewards, World of Hyatt, and many more. Currently, Chase is the only other credit card that lets you transfer points out to Hyatt, and no other credit card lets you transfer points out to American Airlines at a 1-to-1 rate. Therefore, by having a Chase annual fee credit card like the Sapphire Preferred or Reserve and the Bilt MasterCard can be a very powerful hotel travel setup. Now, you can easily get up to 1.8 cents per point in value by transferring Bilt points out to transfer partners, but of course this all varies per transfer partner. Now, I can easily see myself using Bilt points transferring them out to American Airlines, as I do fly a few times a year. Lastly, you can use the Bilt points for the Bilt Travel Portal powered by Expedia. Book hotels, rentals, or activities through there. Now, these points are worth about 1.25 cents per point of value booking through the Bilt Travel Portal. Now, this is another good option if you want to use your points for travel and aren't seeing as much value when transferring them out to transfer earners. The card also comes with other benefits as well. Bilt is offering an $800 cell phone protection with a $25 deductible if you're paying your cell phone bill with the card. There's also trip delay reimbursement of up to $200 per day if your trip is delayed more than 6 hours. There's also auto rental collision damage waiver and tons of other MasterCard Worldly benefits as well. Alright, so before we go into the actual application, let's go over some of my personal credit history to see where I currently stand before applying for the Bilt MasterCard. Now, I currently have 4 credit cards with a total credit limit of $31,600. My oldest card that I opened about 2 years and 9 months ago is also my lowest credit limit card with a limit of about $3,000, while my newest credit card that I opened about 3 months ago has the highest credit limit of about $13,000. At the time of recording, I have a 770 credit score on Experian, a 750 on Equifax and TransUnion. I currently have 2 credit inquiries on TransUnion, 1 on Equifax, and 5 on Experian. Other side notes, I do have a rent of $1,300 and an income of about $77,000. Now, it is recommended to have good to excellent credit score when applying for the Bilt MasterCard. I do fall in that range. Now, I have seen mixed data points on who gets approved for this card or not. Therefore, just because you have the same data points as me doesn't mean you might have the same outcome as me. I have seen people with higher credit scores than me get rejected for this credit card. Therefore, a high credit score is the only factor they are looking for in the application. Alright, so we are finally in the application process. Now, side note, I did have to create a Bilt account that was synced with my Wells Fargo checking account. So some of the info is already pre-filled, which is a nice convenience. Now, I did create the Wells Fargo checking account a few months ago for the promotion that they're running. Since the account isn't too old, I'm not sure what impact it will have on the actual application. So the application is pretty straightforward. We have some personal information to fill out. First name, last name, our address, our phone number, and email, and date of birth, and then the social security number. And then if we are U.S. citizen or U.S. national, so I'll be filling that out based on what I am. And some financial information that we have to include as well. A housing status. So I'm currently renting, so I would be renting on this part. And then our monthly mortgage or rent payment, our portion of that payment. So I'll be putting my rent payment that I talked about earlier. And then finally, the employment status. So based on what your employment status is, you would fill this out. Then the total annual income. So this includes all income before taxes. If you don't have any, we enter 0. So there's a nice little statement. If you're 21 or older, you may include as sourceable income, which is income that is not earned or owned by you, but directly assets to pay your expenses. And then the last field is the amount of total annual income that is not taxable, if any. So if we open this pop-up, it states that this can include Social Security via disability benefits, disability benefit, workers' compensation, foster care income, child support, and public assistance. So you would fill this out if any of those apply to you. And finally, we have a few agreements that we have to read and agree to. I'm going to fill out the information. I'll be right back. Alright, so I fill out the information. So I'm going to continue to the next page. Alright, so it looks like they're processing and validating our information. Alright, so it looks like review your pricing information. Take a moment to review the terms and conditions associated with this credit card. Okay, so I'm going to skim through this information and I'll be right back to proceed to the next page. Alright, so here we go. I'm going to submit and hopefully I get approved. Okay, final verdict is, and we're approved. Approved for the Bilt MasterCard. So we have a credit limit of $5,000, not too bad, and APR of 24.49%. Awesome. Now, I was expecting a little higher credit limit, but $5,000 is more than enough for me since my rent is only about a fraction of that. There we go. So I got approved for the Bilt MasterCard, the $5,000 credit limit. So I'm fairly happy with that. And the Bilt MasterCard is my 5th credit card. So I'm glad that I was able to get approved for this credit card. All right. So we were approved for the Bilt MasterCard. I can finally say that I'm excited to pay rent. I did get an email from Bilt after applying, and my card should be delivered within 7 days of the application. Let me know in the comments below if you have the Bilt MasterCard, what your credit limit is. If you made it this far in the video, thank you for watching.